And now it is time to choose your own adventure game. Our story, it branches, because we cannot go further into Boletaria because the door ahead of us is locked, and it cannot be opened until we defeat an archdemon. I'm a little surprised it's not locked until we defeat all the archdemons. I don't know. As somebody who's played this game a bunch of times, defeating the false king Allant fight feels like the final boss. So the idea that you can do it earlier is actually interesting. Like, I could do the dragon last, or the moth, not the moth, manta last. Doesn't that one end in like a PvP? That'd be a weird ending. You're the dragon. Yeah. A surprising number of these worlds end in a kind of anticlimax, often very, very deliberately. One of them less deliberately, because it was a factor that it was an online feature that was not cut, but less usable over time because of the fact that the online diminishes. It is funny, I did bring up in my Zelda video essay about how much faster the HD remakes age compared to the games they're actually supposed to be updates for. I did bring up Dark Souls, and it was specifically in this concept of the fact that, like, these messages exist, and, like, these ones in particular, and other ones throughout the games, even if they're not super common, will still exist. I think there's one that hints at the Dragon Covenant in Dark Souls 3, and, like, I think Dark Souls 2, it might only be in New Game Plus or Scholar of the First Sin, but there's, like, certain floor messages that are in the world and not just the tutorial that hint at various things. And I was just thinking, like, wow, maybe instead of the fucking tingle bottles just, like, ceasing to exist one day because the Miiverse was taken down, they could have actually had offline messages throughout the game so the feature still did something if you weren't online. Which, I'll remind you, a lot of people are just offline even when the game's new. Like, people just play games offline sometimes. That's just a thing. So it's good to have certain things show up online and all that. But it's funny that I use this game as a counterexample a little bit just because of the fact that obviously Demon Souls has this issue where one of these worlds ends in a feature that only really works particularly well if there's actively a player base playing the game. And since the original game is so old, that was usually not the case. So there's a boss fight in this game I've basically never properly experienced because I always had to fight like a shitty bot. That was interesting. I'm thinking, and I'm like, I think I'm still gonna commit to fighting against Allant last, because he does feel like a climactic final boss fight. That guy that's a shitty fight, and that one is the one I've never done before, I think correctly, and that one is like that one's like not a real fight, and that one's like a Zelda gimmicky fight. That's probably the second best candidate for final boss. Just because it's really climactic, at least, if you're looking for that catharsis. I think it's good to end on a big final boss, because the actual final boss is itself like another anticlimax. There's a lot of anticlimaxes, and a lot of, like, fucking with you on what you expect for a boss. A thing that I think was done less in Dark Souls 1, but more in Dark Souls 2, which might even more point at why I like Dark Souls 2 so much. Let's do a rotation. Let's do the first level of every zone. I think I played them in the order I liked the best the first time, and then 4 years later, I think I played them by rolling the dice. I'm pretty sure I rolled the dice to decide what I would play next each time. Last playthrough. The Smithing Grounds, a city of miners who maintain the giant tunnel. Long ago, the efforts of the hard-headed burrowers allowed Boletarian soldiers to carry out their work, but now, dispossessed of their souls, they have no thoughts of their own, and work in silence, tirelessly, without purpose. This is also admittedly a pretty easy level? Question mark? No, this one's important because we'll get access to the blacksmith and whatnot. If you're frustrated by how much I just blatantly know a lot about the game, even though obviously I'm not, like, I don't memorize it constantly, and so I'm getting, like, stuff wrong and all that, go watch my original playthroughs. I noticed in the comments there's people that are like, oh wow, I finally get to experience Demon Souls, and I'm like, okay, you especially go watch my original playthroughs, because I don't totally love the idea of this being your only impression of the series. Oh, motherfucker. Or the game. It's like, I would at least like you to know what it looked like before. Please. You'll have some idea what I'm talking about. Even though if you don't have any kind of like adopted appreciation for the series as a result of like spending time with it, you might be like, but the graphics are just worse, therefore you're wrong. So maybe I'm just shooting myself in the foot by encouraging more people to go back. But I've seen so many people wax poetic about Shadow of the Colossus at this point, and I'm like, I get it. Like, it's the original game was really distinctive in its appearance. That's a cool background sound. The original game was really distinctive in its appearance, and that's true for Demon Souls 2. And they both got sanded into something more generic. Which, boy, sure happened to the soundtrack of the last boss fight, and that hurt me on the inside.
Hello there. Souls. I trade fine goods for souls.
What do you got, buddy? You got some of these upgrade materials, which are valuable to get if you need your totals rounded off to accomplish your next milestone. Freaking weapon upgrades basically being more important than leveling up, which is why they throttle you by having the resource itself become leveled up. It's like, oh, well, now you need the bigger one, and that only happens later in the game. We're not gonna let you get completely out of hand here. You can only grind to level up your character. You can't grind to level up your weapon. You have to actually beat something first.
Our little town. It's a nice wee place.
Because you pee on it?
Those lizard-eyed townsfolk are busy tinkering with stone and don't bother with old folk like me. Makes life rather easy for me. I can get away with anything. I always knew there was a god. Thanks for looking out for me. Oh, have you heard about sparkling lizards? Not easy to catch, but they've got some fine stones. And I know where one of their nests is. Oh, I'm sorry, I can't give it away.
Yeah, but by saying that, you're basically revealing it's in this world.
I always knew there was a god. Thanks for looking out for me. Oh, you want to play? You've got to pay. Don't you agree?
It is kind of interesting how they always have these conditional dialogues, and they're from the original game, where they say something differently based on whether you bought something or didn't buy something, and they also say something differently based on whether you actually press the button to leave the dialogue versus just walking away from them because your character isn't frozen by dialogue and you can just walk away, and they're like, what? And then we saw with Stockpile Thomas, he'll even still remember that you left without saying goodbye, and he'll like berate you for it next time you come by. The dialogue, the voice acting is interesting because like they definitely are trying to emulate the original voice actors, but it's also definitely not the original voice lines. And I don't know how much I would notice that. It's just that there's certain moments where they said something that sounds weird, but not in the way that Demon Souls sounded weird, if you know what I mean. Because the dialogue was always weird in these games, but it's more like, in this game, I occasionally hear the line and I'm like, oh, I don't know if I would have said it like that. And in Demon Souls, it's like, why would you say it like that? Like, it's so far in the other direction that it's like it's such a clearly intentional move. Oh, shit, that arc surprised me. Got that one wrong. I want to get some of those items, but I also don't want to deal with those guys anymore. The lighting is really nice in here. This is a world I imagine being least bothered by any changes they make. Like, it's a mine. It's gonna be dark, and I'm gonna be happy with like the high quality lighting being added in. to make the torches look really nice and everything. I don't imagine I can't really imagine what they would do to bother me by comparison to, like, completely changing the feel of Boletaria. Like, hello. Oh, they made you, like, sickly or something? Ow, fuck. I fucked that up. Excuse me. Thank you. Just using my shittiest heal. You lit yourself on fire, you fool. Aren't you guys supposed to have creepy masks because you're the politicians? Or the overseers or whatever? That might have just been in Boletaria. I was fixated on everything else during the Tower Knight cutscene, so I don't remember. Oh god, I don't remember what the official in that episode looked like. That boss fight. Hey guys, would you like to start moving through this doorway? Getting a little stuck on each other. Just trying not to get caught off guard by the second dude whenever I attack one of them. Like, that's a weird move to take the bloated masked officials and make them look sickly. And boils-y? But I'd have to compare. There's red in my hair. Somebody got strawberry jam. These landscapes, distant places. It's all construction and mines as far as you go. Because it's the Dwarven lands. A stone of ephemeral eyes. I remember this being an important source of ephemeral eyes in the early game. It's just remembering the spot specifically. But we're not using those items this playthrough, because those make you human. And when you're human, your deaths reduce the world tendency, and that makes it so you can't access any of the pure white tendency stuff later in the game. And that system's kind of weird. I guess it rewards flawless play, but if you were so good... If you're so good that you're not dying, in order to make it so that you never get punished by reduced world tendency, then you wouldn't need a Stone of Ephemeral Eyes to begin with, because you wouldn't be dying. But also, even if you had died, you're so good at the game that you wouldn't need the health boost, and you wouldn't need the summons. I guess you're fighting invasions at that point. Time for piercing. They're talking about these guys. Yeah, I am a little bit in trouble here. The scimitar, I believe it does exclusively slashing damage. The winged spear has stabbing damage. They're suggesting that these guys are harder to kill if you only have access to... Boop! But I've got backstabs, boy. But there's definitely an element of, I'm in danger! These guys are armored. And relatively difficult. God damn it, they're always perfectly covering the flank of the other one. Ow. I was trying to go for the backstab instead of piercing. To substitute for my own bad choices. He's coming at me with a weapon. Speaking of weapons that probably have piercing, I'm taking too many hits. You're gonna be alone soon, Dr. Pickaxe. What do you think about that? Oop, he's coming. He is not pleased. There you go. That's a piercing attack. Thank you for your service. You're always worried there might be so much stuff hidden inside of the crates and the whatnot. Beware of rats. Oh, yeah. I know what's coming. I don't think they're rats, though. Aren't they dogs? Are they giant rats? It is dark here and difficult to see. I believe you're perfectly capable of just ignoring all of these guys and just not fighting them. And they don't even really reward you much when you kill them, so you might as well. Ow. Oh, shit. Got myself in some trouble by getting too close. Oh yeah, those are the dogs. I don't know why I said rats. I'm a bad person. And these dogs have hops. You doing alright? Sorry. Why is your hair It's not windy in here. Calm down. Calm down, hair physics. Yeah, I don't think it's worth the grind. I think that the miners have an increased drop rate of minerals or something. Here, your upgrade shards. Although now if I go in here, they're gonna come up behind me. Although I guess they'll all be grouped up on a hallway. That'll make them easier to take out. Alright, well that didn't work. Ow. Shit. Please die. Are they coming for me? No. I'm a bit sloppy. That's a lot of items. Demon Souls is a game where you can play pretty sloppy, though. It's interesting that in many ways my favorite two are polar opposites of each other. Because Dark Souls 2 demands such a tightness in your gameplay. Hey, buddy. Ow! It's about honing your skills at doing a one-on-one duel against a boss with a weapon over and over and over until you're unassailable. I am definitely taking too many hits, though. Alright, well they're obnoxiously tanky. There's a pickaxe. Oh, I thought that was the room that Batwood does back there. Oop, how did it get me? Oh shit! I'm gonna die actually. I'm actually gonna die. I was too sloppy. Okay. I said I wasn't gonna be a spear playthrough, but here I am spearing it up. But the game's bullying me. The funny thing is that yeah, like I'm playing. Oh god, I'm so heavy. I'm playing a dex build, so I'm probably going to have a piercing weapon in the long term. Like a rapier or something. But I just haven't found one yet. Oh god. Ironically, this is harder. This is now a harder fight. Not necessarily. I can stab from behind my shield like the other. Ah! Wait! Dickhead. Okay, lock on. Help me. I forgot. I forgot that there's like surprise attackers. Ah! I forgot how many people actually attack you if you don't attack. I thought it was just the dogs. Motherfucker's throwing fire spells at me now. What's he attacking? Oh god, look at that. Look at that beaut. Having to consider what type of weapon you're using. It's one of those things that goes away in the franchise, I feel like. I feel like I basically never have to think about what weapon I'm using, and I just use whatever one I like, and that complements my build. And there's like a few exceptions. Like there's the ghosts in going through here. Don't need to fight that guy again. There's the ghosts in Dark Souls 1, which specifically it's less a weapon and more you have to have a special element in order to be able to fight at all. Dark Souls 1 has the undead and the ghosts. The ghost you can only hurt if you either are cursed or you have a cursed weapon. And it's really a pain in the ass to get to the catacombs. Unless you have some kind of holy enchant that will make it so the skeletons don't get revived when you kill them. I roll so bad. There you go. Oh yeah, this is the same room. So when I passed this room and I thought it was that room. It actually technically was. But the other side, because it has impassable minecarts. But like I cannot remember I can't really remember moments in Dark Souls 2 or 3 or Bloodborne where you really specifically had to change to a specific weapon. In fact, I feel like Bloodborne really encouraged you to like pick your favorite weapon based on like coolness factor practically, and then just like commit to finding the best playstyle to get through the whole game with it, as opposed to having to make tactical choices along the way. Do 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 do. Hello. Hey, buddy. Fuck you. Right up the a-hole, boy. Wow, that did so little damage. What the fuck? Wow. That's the most resilience to backstabbing I've ever seen. But I really specifically remember that in this level they open with the shields, not this level, in this game they open with the shield slimes for the phalanx. And they are so specifically a pain to fight. Haha, there's a thing in the way. Please die. There you go. The shield slimes are so specifically a pain in the ass to fight in a hallway of any kind, because you can't get behind them, and it's just a huge pain in the ass. Because you have to attack them from behind to have any luck. And there's shields in the way, and they can stab you and even shoot projectiles at you. And so you need to think about attacking them from behind, but they're so specifically and ridiculously vulnerable to fire. It's like, oh, this is the way to go. And then, yeah, in this whole level, if you have a slashing weapon, you're just like, why was I put on the earth to suffer? Look at this. Look at this damage. It's like getting a backstab, but in the face. Face stab. It's just stabbing in general, I guess. Is this one also going to explode? Does this bridge just work? Is there a thing up there? I remember there being some weird jumps somewhere in here. Thank you for your bullshit. Oh, that's important. The official's gloves. Whoops. Not quite there yet. Yeah, this so far seems like the world least impacted by art choice, art direction changes. Hello, Fogdoor. Time for partying. Is that a reference to my playthrough? No. But I had what was practically a vocal tick in this playthrough in the original one in 2013. Because, you know, you're being a Let's Player and you gotta fill time. And you're like, what do I talk about here? What do I say here? And, you know, there's an inherent repetition to video games that you try to adapt to and figure out how to best react to that stuff. And it's like, you gotta talk a lot, and you're gonna end up like fighting a dude over and over again. Even in a comparatively unrepetitive game like the Souls games, where the environment itself informs the fights and the fights change a lot, that doesn't necessarily constantly give you a lot to say. And so on a regular basis, a fight would start. I was like, "Oh, hey, how you doing? Would you like to party?" And I would just say that all the time throughout my Demon's Souls playthrough and probably other games for that year. And it's one of those things where you like become conscious that you're saying a thing too much, but that means you're thinking now too much about the thing that you're saying too much, and now that just makes you accidentally say it more. It's like when you're at a social thing and somebody points out that you've like gone back to a particular topic that's like weirdly specific, like 4 times in the last hour. And now he's like, well, now I don't want to say it again, but also it's all I'm thinking about. If I do a little reset on my... Ow. Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck. There I go. There I go. Wow, I couldn't even see. He caught up with me faster than I expected. Shit. What a dickhead. I've died twice. Like, you get the point where it's like, okay, well, I weirdly mentioned comas for some reason twice already. Somebody weirdly pointed out that, and now I don't want to mention comas, but now it's all I'm thinking about. I don't know why I picked comas for this one. It's just like that weird contradiction where it's like, you don't want to say this thing, but it's also you can't think about anything but the thing you're supposed to not say. Fuck! God, I hate having a slow roll. Dogs are such a problem sometimes. Oh, I don't like that sound. Oh, fuck. Oh god, here it comes. There we go. Dogs can just generally be a problem in these games, but the worst case scenario, also known as the Bloodborne scenario, is when From Software mixes dogs with other unit types. And you're like, no! Because the 3 dogs will keep you really busy because they're chaotic and confusing to fight. And then they'll be like, and here's a motherfucking gun boy or something. And you're like, oh, cool, I'll just lay down and die then. Fuck, this is bad. I thought the guy in the doorway was the one I was fighting. Fuck! Okay. Out. There's an interesting thing where when people want to criticize Dark Souls 2, they'll complain that the Dark Souls formula is built entirely around one-on-one fights. And that having fights against a bunch of dudes is like bad for that formula, apparently. Which is interesting, because Demon's Souls and Bloodborne are also very much in favor of like swarming you and being like, now deal with this problem, better start thinking fast. Like, it's kind of like baked into the DNA of the kind of games that they make, and it's always been that case. But I find that criticism interesting in Dark Souls 2 in particular because of the fact that that's a game that most specifically hones in on having the one-on-one duel. So, like, if you're making the argument that this franchise is best at one type of fight and that you shouldn't deviate far from that kind of fight, then you're... But, like the people that say that are often the same people that complain about Dark Souls 2, and they often complain about the fact that the fights are just like it's like a dude in armor with a weapon over and over again for large chunks of the game. Even though the game does have a bunch of gimmicky and weirder and monstery fights, but it's like, isn't the game giving you the type of fight that you are saying is the kind of fight that they should only be doing? And it's like what? I'm lost. I need to review the notes on what you've been saying. So, what I'm saying is I need to rewatch the Matthew Matosis video and remind myself what his criticisms were, somewhat, because I feel like he said both of those things to some extent, but I might be conflating his comments about multiple enemies with other people constantly complaining about the dude in armor fights. Although the people that, because of how video essays work on YouTube, the people that complain about the game often will just cite the same video over and over again. Like, they will just be directly citing the Matthew Matosis video over and over again. And if they don't literally mention his video, they will, like, verbatim repeat his criticisms while also saying things that contradict those criticisms. And I'm like, okay, it's one or the other. Is this a one-on-one duel franchise? Or are you mad that the game is full of armor dudes and so on? Hello. I got just the thing for this, boys. Ring of Great Strength, Cling Ring. I don't want to lose my health, so I'll deal with that in a moment. This does work here, right? Oh! No! It doesn't! Not that kind of fire resistance. Boy, do I not have that as much memorized as I want to have memorized about some of these tricks. They pull the same shit with Dark Souls 1 in the Demon Ruins, or whatever, or the area before the Demon Ruins, where there's a tantalizingly nearby item that you definitely want, and it's right there, and there's only like 1 foot of lava between you and it, and it will kill you. It will kill you instantly. You will be dead. You will be baked, and then there will be cake. I have nothing against Matthew Matosis, by the way. I'm subscribed to and watch all of his videos. But you can find a contradiction in a particular criticism that somebody has and be like, I don't know about that idea. It's like how it's like how I have enjoyed Joseph Anderson videos before. Especially the Edith Finch video and stuff, but then I'll be like, he'll be like, I'm really mad this game wasted my time, and I'm gonna express that by wasting my own time for like hours. Like, I really don't like the masturbatory practice of like stringing together the load times of every single Breath of the Wild dungeon just to express like, wow, over the course of this very long game, you might collectively waste like X number of minutes watching the elevator each time you go into a shrine. And I'm like, I don't feel like this is that good of a point, but I feel like it's diminished even more by your weird willingness to waste so much of your time just to express how that thing is wasting your time. And he did that again with, even more confusingly, with the shines in are they called shines? The stars? The things in Galaxy. No. Odyssey. And it's like, you're complaining about the screen that celebrates that you succeeded at a thing? I think people spend those couple of seconds feeling good about the thing they did. Not being like, God, I hate that I have to watch him look happy with a star for a second. I don't know. As a big fan of Banjo-Kazooie, I'm not like... Like, that whole segment, I'm not like, ah, fuck, why can't I skip the funny jingle where he's happy that he got a jiggy? It's like, no, I like that because it's fun. It's nice. I like it. Please. Why are you streaming together the animations of all the time it happens and to illustrate why that's bad actually? And I'm like, what? There's also just an element of like, I guess I'm just going in on this video now. There's like an element of like, I guess you don't value your time though, because like, why did you hunt through all of your footage to find every example of that and then string them all together back to back? Especially if you know that they all have the same animation length. Like, you could have just looked at one of them and then multiplied the number by how many times it happens, and you could have been done with the segment in like 30 seconds instead of the, oh god, literal hours it would take to hunt through every single clip and then string them all together in editing. Like, I've edited video essays now, and it's so time-consuming. I can't imagine voluntarily doing such a weirdly long project just to say something that's kind of pedantic and low value. Unless I'm missing something and he just kind of, like, did just shortcut it, but made it look like he put a lot of effort in. But I'm like, no, just fucking... No. Bro, it's not worth it. Oops. What's up? What's up? It's you. So this is all to say that now I just can sometimes I'll just podcast about something instead of asking the stone golem man if he would like to party. The dangerous thing is that if you talk about anything other than the game, people complain you're not talking about the game, but they also complain about whatever you talked about, and then it's like, oh shit, what was I talking about that episode? Oh, I talked about game theory for a minute, and now there's like 5 people that are angry at me 2 weeks later when the video went up, and I don't even remember what I said. So I look forward to this comment section when I don't remember why it's happening. God, I hate this armor. I should have just taken more of it off. Is this enough? That's enough. No gloves for me. That's what I should have done in the first place. Oh. Shortcut! I love this shortcut because it gets so much stuff done at the same time. Like, you might have gotten the hint of the hammering from upstairs and heard that, but at the same time, like, you just want a shortcut back to the beginning of the level, because, like, you've played the first level. You were basically required to play the Phalanx Demon level at the beginning. And now that you've played the Phalanx Demon level, you're like, wow, shortcuts are great. It means you don't have to do all that shit again. Because if you do the entire Phalanx Demon level from front to back with no breaks and no deaths, it's like an hour of continuous gameplay, probably, all in one go. It's a very deep chasm. And you can see all these little bridges and stuff down there. This place is huge, and it's all being worked on. But like, that level is so long, and the shortcuts are so sparse. Or they're not, I didn't mean to say that. That's not really accurate. But like, the level's really, really long, and it keeps folding onto itself, and you're so grateful for those shortcuts each time you get one. So by now you're primed to get a shortcut, and so when you get this one, you're like, ah, yes. But then it keeps going, and you're like, where the fuck am I going? And it puts you down here, and you meet an important NPC as a result. And it's not like not just a plot NPC, but like functionally one of the most important NPCs in the entire game for your success at the game. Hey, buddy.
I haven't seen you around these parts. What does it matter? You need a blacksmith? Show me your steel. If not, head straight for the door.
Weren't you green?
I'm busy. I'm not here to chit-chat. Forging a weapon strengthens it and alters its character. Ores are transmogrified spirits. Their presence blesses the weapon. Force a transmog.
Repair. Repairing all would be expensive. Upgrade. Skimmy tier. I think this is just on upgrading it, basically. So I can keep upgrading the scimitar, which is not amazing. It only has D scaling with dexterity, which the winged spear does too. Spear's function is rapiers with longer reach. Yeah, I would like a rapier though, or something like that. I'm not in a big hurry to upgrade this more, because I don't plan on committing to this weapon. I guess I should just upgrade the winged spear and just look forward to a chance to switch it out for something else later. Let's take it to a 94. This will go to 90. Yeah, it'll catch up pretty quickly. Sharp winged spear. Increases its dex. Yes. Yeah, I don't have it though. So with Blade Stone, I can increase the dexterity scaling of a weapon. As you can see here, the +1 will still take its normal physical attack to 94, but its attribute scaling, its strength scaling will go down and its dex scaling will go up, and so you go from a +14 from dex scaling to +23 from dex scaling, and that's a big change. I have no Blade Stone though. You do not have the requirements to do this. Yeah, we need 6th for the next time. Alright. Well, that does way more damage than my scimitar does now. My armor's not that damaged, so we're pretty okay.
All done. Then be gone. I work alone.
I work alone. Well, goodbye then. I'll say hi to your brother for you, you prick.
I am the sad knight. I'm sad because I would like to be wearing the fluted helm right now, but they took that from me and gave it to Oscar, who was undeserving. And he's lucky I didn't just fucking kill him for it. Another fog gate. Die! Jesus Christ. Startled me. Ah! How are you doing that? I can't do that when I have the high ground. My attacks always miss. What's this magic bullshit you're doing? Kind of just working my way through all my crescent grasses so I stop having them. You start off with too many. Now I one-shot you guys with my overly showy execution animation. No. How did that? Okay. I think the rotation of the back, the rotation of their back and shoulders in their animation makes it can obscure what direction is actually their back. Like when they're leaning forward and crouching like that, it's like, okay, it's very obvious. The shoulders are squared. You know where the back of their headbox is. But once they're like taking a sideways stance towards you with a weapon, it often is like, well, I'm behind their back. Why isn't it backstabbing? And then you hit them in a weird angle where it seems like it wouldn't backstab them and it does. And you're like, oh, okay. Take some practice. Try strong attack. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Why didn't it work? Flashbacks to Dark Souls 2, where every single hallway was full of walls that were like, wow, it's an illusionary wall, try attacking. And it never was. Oh, don't run into the guys. Oh, fuck, this is why you don't want to have a spear. There we go. Ah. Owie. That hurt more than expected. It's one of the douchier enemies in the game. They specifically put that crystal lizard there to lure you into these guys. But at the same time, you're like, but it's a crystal lizard. So it's like, the worst part about that crystal lizard is that it is worth the risk. Where are these assholes? Okay. More crescent moon. No, I'm trying to diminish my stack. Which one of you's throwing? Is the guy in the... There's those two in the back, isn't it? I thought this was one of the times that they're throwing at him from above. But no, this is just your chance to circumnavigate the trap. No, not the big one. Oh. Why, hello, dick. Stop throwing rocks at me. We could have been friends. Probably not. Spider stone. Lots of spider stone. Spider stone all around. Did one of you come up here? Because it looked like one of you was going to chase me up here. Really got the vibe that was happening. Sup? I guess this is more specifically the path you should take to sneak up behind them, because this is a safer drop and there's an item. It's pretty telegraphed by the item too, and the shininess. How do you run again? Jump again? Does this game even have jumping? Because in Dark Souls 1, I think you run and then you double tap run while you're running to jump. And in Dark Souls 2 and 3, I think you could remap it to clicking the stick while you're running. But I think in this game you can go fuck yourself. You think this is the precarious spot I was thinking about a minute ago? Yep. It's a bit of a setback. Because you can't get back, I don't think. But that just takes some running around. And if you cleared everybody out, there's not much risk left. That gate with the hole in it. There's an item. Oh, did they put that one on a little ledge where if you land on it, you survive? Is that the lava resistance ring? They want you to drop... Do they want you to drop down there, grab that ring, put it on, and then leave with your increased resistance? Or is it something else entirely? God, I don't remember. But just for the entertainment of everybody around, let's just suffer for it. Ow, I missed. You're welcome. I learned it by watching you. Yeah, well, let's try not to lose all my souls now. Because I fucked up. There's certain parts of this level where you can very easily bypass huge numbers of enemies, and there's other parts where if you try to, you might quickly find yourself choked in a hallway, and then suddenly everyone's just pummeling you and you can't get away. You're like, what have I done? Excuse me, excuse me, excuse me, excuse me. And every time I make a stupid mistake like that, I'm not gonna try again. I can't just keep doing this. God, a light attack is enough to two-shot you. There's actually no reason to... Wow, there's no reason to use a heavy attack, because a light attack is the same number of hits, but faster. Obviously, the heavy attack does more damage, but it's all about them breakpoints, bro! Termite... Oh, he didn't... Oh, he wasn't attacking. Is that what it was? It does usually amount to, I think it's counterattack damage when you use a thrusting attack while they're attacking, and you get bonus damage. Which might be a universal mechanic in older games. But I specifically learned it the most, I think, in Dark Souls 2? Because there was a ring that references it directly. Anyway, bye. There's a ring that gives you bonuses to counterattacks. Valuable secret ahead. Wow! Let's figure it out! It's gonna get dangerous in here. Is there also a lizard here? Ow. Oh! They are hard to see. In this world. Oh, there it comes. Here comes the actual problem. Hey, buddy. No. Ow, he got me anyway. You doing alright there, buddy? You gonna figure it out? God, they're so fast. Look at him just zigzagging on the wall. I'm afraid to even pick up the item until they're gone. Ow. Ow, shit. Even laying in wait, they hit me faster. I'm trying to ambush them. But no, you have to have a shield up and be ready to block their attacks, because they will get it first. But to this day, I get comments on them. I think it's my Dark Souls 2 playthrough, one of my later ones. Where they're like, what the fuck? How are you doing so much damage? Are you cheating? Like, they think I'm hacking the game. It's like, no, I'm just using a dex build with a rapier and the ring that gives you bonus damage during counterattacks, which is just devastating. Counterattack doesn't require that much strategy, because enemies attack, like, all the time. So if you're using a weapon that gets bonus damage against counterattacks, it's basically just a weapon that gets bonus damage a lot of the time. You just can't always rely on it. You'll have moments where you're like, oh, dang, I thought he was going to be dead in 2 hits, because they usually are, but he lived and for a 3rd hit. And that's because he wasn't attacking during one of them, so your usual numbers got thrown off. Yeah, I do have to two-hand to get the 2-hit kills. Ah, he just hit me anyway. Rude. There, see, he staggered. God, motherfucker. Pick a poise, you bastards. Oh, it's a guy. Didn't even see him. Clearstone, and more clearstone. And sharpstone. I think clearstone just removes whatever special thing you add to your weapon. Is this the lava remover? Yeah, there's the water. So that stops this from moving. Then the water backs up, so it comes out here, I think. There you go. Is that actually the way forward, too? Did I fuck that up that much? Or it's actually like the mandatory way to continue? Hello, item. Classic moment of like, how the fuck do you get there? I believe I passed up on going somewhere else earlier. Edge sharpening stone. He's got so many, but he's just so not careful with them. Valuable message ahead. Is the message the friends we met along the way? If you're, I realize not everyone knows what the fuck's going on. If you're new here and are wondering why I don't acknowledge that a ghost shows up every now and then, those are just other players in their worlds. The game will just kind of show people around, kind of just vaguely suggesting that you're not in the struggle alone and that other people are going through it at the same time as you. Although the idea of how much it's at the same time versus how much it's like a bunch of recorded characters that are always that are just replayed, or even how many of them might just be like the developer. Like you could definitely fake this effect very easily without having any real player base by just recording. Oh yeah, we just opened that up. It's neat how interconnected this stuff is. Like when I was down there dying to lava salamanders, then dying to lava itself, I was just below this ambush here. And so now I can roll onto the staircase for reduced damage and just skip down to here. Because this place is interconnected as fuck. There's actually some really good levels in Demon Souls. I think it's... I was like partly... Whenever I go back and I'm like talking about how Demon Souls is maybe my favorite one, part of me is always like, are you being a weird hipster asshole? Like, are you gonna go back to this and be like, oh, this isn't that good anyway? Look at that solidified magma. I'm always partly worried I'm gonna go back and be like, ah, I'm just full of shit, aren't I? But then I see stuff like this and I'm just like, this is such a nice level. Like the constant like looping back into itself, and you keep like opening up the next chunk. Like this is what this level in particular is what the Surge is desperately trying to do in both of its games. It's trying to make this level with how often its path like loops back onto itself, and you keep opening up the next thing, and the path forward keeps getting shorter and shorter. But this level is full of like memorable locations. And it's weird because it looks like a samey, it looks like a dark samey mine, and yet it's more memorable in its design than any of the most locations in the Surge really are, which are so fucking confusing to navigate. Hey, buddy. Yep. You're very clever, and we like you a lot. It's like, I don't get lost in this level, but I got lost every time I played a Surge game. And that was frustrating. But it's like, they're trying to do the thing I like. They're trying to do the cool level stuff that the other places do. But it's like, I can't tell where the fuck I am and what's happening. These guys are pricks. Stop bellying. Ow. Ow. I'm not playing well enough against these guys. Oops. It's unfortunate. Ow. These guys are assholes, but I'm definitely fucking up. I should have never had to heal that many times. Da 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 da. It's impressive how short the run back is at this point. I've been here for an hour, but I just take the elevator by the miner, the blacksmith guy, and then I run through the previous lava zone, and the primary obstacle I have to deal with is that official that I just ran past. Hey, buddy. Was that rock supposed to hit me? You didn't do a very good job. You didn't do a very good job at all. Hey, buddy. Anybody up here? See, this is like this is a poison weapon? A crisp blade. It's a dagger. I don't think it has any poison. It has magical damage, yeah. I think the dagger just makes me associate it with poisony type stuff. I don't think I can get up to where that guy dropped down from. Just trying to think about items. All the people up in webs. Spooky. I wonder what might happen next.